Please, Daddy, please. You know that I want one of these. Plus, all my friends got cars when they turned 16. Dad, please, I want a white Jeep. Wait.
I hate how misunderstood OCD is. People genuinely don't know how debilitating it is. Food aversions, random phobias, literally second guessing and being afraid of every single decision and action. OCD can even cause hallucinations. People with OCD sometimes hear things that aren't there, sometimes see things that aren't there, feel things that aren't there. OCD causes so many people so much pain, and people just write it off.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Of how two kiddos reacted to me in my wheelchair yesterday at Costco, which proves to me that the belief that wheelchairs and mobility aids are a bad thing is a learned thing. That's not an inherent belief. Let's do this. Oh, babe, hold on 1 second. I gotta put my gloves on, okay? Thanks. Daddy, do you see that girl's wheelchair over there? It's so cool, isn't it? You're so right, sweetheart. That wheelchair is very cool. Babe, did you hear what that kid over there said? That is so cute. Oh my god. Mommy, look at that girl's wheelchair over there. Mom, that wheelchair is so cool. If I ever need a wheelchair, I want one that looks just like that one. Of course, you could definitely have a wheelchair that looks like that one if you ever need it. That's awesome. Babe, you have to hear what this little girl said about my wheelchair. It was the cutest thing. Oh my god.
You gotta see the artistry in tearing the place apart with me, baby. I am unruly in the stands. I am a rock on top of the sand. I am a fist amidst the hand. I break it just because I can. Let's break it just because we can. Deface it just because we can. Let's break it just because.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, in everything.
Some people need to learn how to talk to deaf people like they're actually people. My wife is deaf, and one thing that we've noticed is that a lot of the times when we meet new hearing people, they'll talk to me like I'm a normal adult person, but they will talk to her and either look down on her or talk to her like she's a child. For example, if we're talking about playing pinball, people might come up to me and be like, oh, that's awesome, I play pinball too. What's your favorite table? I love Attack from Mars, AFM. And then they'll talk to my wife, who also plays pinball, and they'll say, oh, you like pinball? Aw, that's great. And it's just it just makes my skin crawl because she is so smart and everything. We do combat against that. She speaks for herself, and she will just speak much more intelligently than I can. And if people continue to do that, it's just people that we don't associate with. But yeah.
In a truly shocking turn of events, my disability has disabled me.
I was born with one hand, so I'm going to talk about being a parent with a disability. So I'm going to be honest, I didn't really think anything about it in the lead up and when I was pregnant about parenting with one hand. Truthfully, it's probably because I was born like it, so I've never known any different, and it really hasn't stopped me in many ways in my life at all. To summarise my birth story, of Arthur, not my own birth story. I had an emergency C-section after quite a long labour, and that's kind of, in the recovery of that, that's when it hit me that, oh, this isn't going to be that easy. Obviously, a recovery from a C-section is quite hard because you can't really, you've got a cut in your stomach, but also you have to really try and rest, and resting while you've got a newborn isn't that easy anyway. But secondly, I think the reason it hit me even harder is because I didn't quite realise how much I used the rest of the muscles in my body to make up for the fact that I've got a missing hand. So for example, when I'm trying to breastfeed Arthur when he was a baby, I was like, if I wanted to do it on the other boob, because I don't have a hand to hold him in a certain position, I would usually go to use my knee or something like that to hold him up. And I couldn't do that because I had this massive line in my, like a scar in my stomach. I was, my muscles weren't there properly. They were recovering. I had to rest. So yeah, that's when it hit me that I was probably going to find it a bit harder than everybody else. But the truth is, it's like everything. I mean, parenting alone, you're learning on the job, as always. And to be honest, when you've got a disability, you're always learning on the job too. One of the things that I do think I find harder is holding him and doing things. I think that's a hard skill to learn anyway, but I feel like I find it harder because he's not in the position where he like grips onto me yet, and so I have to try and I use this hand as a spare hand, and then I have to try and like hold him with my arm. But to be honest, I think it's just like sign card practice, and I feel like I'm way better than I was at the beginning anyway, and I'm sure although I hope when we have a second child, I'll be a pro, right? And then I've got to just learn how to live with 2 children, but that's like any other parent. So this is probably a babbly way of saying you just learn on the job, like you do when you're disabled, and like you do when you're a parent.
What is this?
What do you mean, what is this? I'm a custom wood burner. I'm custom wood burning. You clicked on custom wood burning. Did you think I'd be sitting here farting around? No, I'm custom wood burning.
So many kids in our house, so let's turn the sound up. You know why? I think it's time for a grandkid roundup. Grandkid roundup. Cousin Dolores can hear a pin drop. Camilo shapeshifts. Antonio gets his gift today. My older sisters, Isabella and Luisa. One strong, one graceful, perfect in every way. Rolls of flower, the town goes wild. She's a perfect golden child.
Now that I'm on my tangent, let me just say this. People with invisible disabilities do not have to prove themselves to you. Saying things like, oh, well, you don't look like you have a disability, or naming all the things that they can do, that is actually incredibly offensive. Because what you're telling me is that I need to prove to you why I have a disability or how it makes my life harder. There are ways to ask somebody about their disability, but saying things like, well, you don't look like you could do this, you could do that. What the fuck do you want me to do? What do you want me? Pull up a PowerPoint presentation about how my disability, how my oxygen tank makes my life harder? What do you want?
Dude, doctors are obsessed with mobility aids just making everything worse. Falling and injuring yourself is gonna be definitely a worse injury than getting a little bit weaker. Yes, moving as much as possible is always gonna be best, but you know what I found when I started using mobility aids? I was able to do so much more for a lot longer. And I'm not even talking about just getting things done in my life, because that's not enough for doctors. I was able to move more. I was able to walk more because I could spread my energy over a long period of time and not hurt myself. Do things for longer, feel less terrible, help your chronic fatigue, or prevent you from getting an injury. Use a mobility aid. It's probably better for you than just doing a lot at once and then staying in bed for another day or 2 or however long it takes for you to recover from that. Getting an injury from falling is so much worse. And make sure that you're using it correctly. A lot of the time going to a physical therapist, they can fit it correctly, they can show you how to use it so you don't hurt yourself. But preventing major injury is probably the top priority for doctors. It should be, at least.